They did on January 22nd, 2023.
I never said that.
A candidate of all progressive conference as Wajimola Mejidegu and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria where a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Yesterday you said the man was corrupt, said he was weak, said he messed us up. You shouted loud on every TV screen, said Nigeria deserves a better king. You
in trying to remove
you raised
Jonathan,
your fist, said the mandate was stolen, you couldn't resist. You
there
spoke
were
like a lion, bold and loud. Now you whispered the opposite before the crowd.
stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement.
To the gate of Asorak, suddenly the tune changed on your clock. The same man you said would never change, now you praise him like he's heaven sent. You used to sing the people's song, now you dance where the big men belong. Yesterday you spoke for the land, today you clap for the rulers.
You said it was so corrupt you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
These hungry charlatans know the truth. They know the man they are trying to defend is indefensible. So they lie, they deny, we know them all. Reno, Mokri and others, they twist the story just to cover the shame. Or the insecurity in the land is louder than their speeches. The hunger in the streets is louder than their propaganda. The pain of the people sticks louder than their empty rhetoric. Nigerians can see through the cover-up. They hear beyond the loud threats. You cannot deceive them anymore. Two mouths, talking left, talking right. Yesterday you fought the power, today you join the fight. Two mouths, we the people understand. Yesterday you said it's your left, today you say we must stand. Now you defend what you once condemned, bending the juke just to please your friend. Every word just to earn a pay, every stitch just to keep your stay. But the streets remember every sound, every promise you threw around. You may change your song today, but the people remember what you say. And others like you, the people are watching. The people remember. No more two more. Speak the truth. Paula, a man who speaks from two sides of his mouth.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. This is 2 minutes after 4 p.m. Nigerian time. If you are just joining us, you are on time. We're about to start the program. Thank you for joining us. As usual, we have a guest this afternoon joining us from the United States of America. Is someone that you know. A lot of people have been searching the hashtag #EarthShaker, you know. And if you search for the hashtag #EarthShaker, you will see a lot of things that the man is exposing to the general public. So we are going to start today by looking backward, because a lot of people did not understand what is actually going on in Nigeria today, because they did not look back to understand where this issue of Christian genocide started. A lot of people are just thinking that this thing started in this current administration. But I am going to take you back. And when you look at the screen, you will see that some time ago, this is January 3, 2012, because in 2011 December, the Boko Haram militant, the Boko Haram terrorists, they declared that the whole Christians in northern part of the country should leave northern Nigeria. Why? Because they want to declare an Islamic state in the northern Nigeria. This is the news from the Voice of America. Nigeria government rejects Boko Haram's ultimatum. So take your Bible, because I want you to jot all this thing down and go and verify everything I'm going to say here. You can check it on Al Jazeera, on BBC, on CNN. So it was a global news. So it's not something that people don't just know. So after that, as you can see again on the screen, this is from the United Nations. UN started warning about sectarian violence, sectarian attack in northern Nigeria. And as you know, sectarian violence is just a religious violence, just like what we are seeing in Nigeria today. So it started from let me say 2012, 2011, and the Nigerian government did not do anything to stop it. However, during the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, that is the administration that handed over to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is something that the Minister of Information, Mr. Naya Mohammed, said. Just take a listen, take a listen.
But in the wake of a renewed onslaught by tireless military against Boko Haram and their ISWAP allies in recent times, the insurgents have apparently changed their strategy. They have started targeting Christians and Christian villages for a specific reason, which is to trigger a religious war and throw the nation into chaos. Apparently, they have realized how emotive and divisive religion can be when exploited by unscrupulous persons. Lest I am misunderstood, let me repeat. The insurgents who delude themselves as Muslims, whereas they are nothing more than bloodthirsty, rapacious killers who subscribe to no religion, have recently started targeting Christians with a view to sowing the seed of confusion and discord between the two great religions. This is not to say that they have stopped attacking Muslims, but they seem to now have a deliberate policy of attacking Christians. The attack.
That is the word there. They now have a deliberate policy of attacking Christians. Thank God you all know Naya Mohammed. He was the Minister of Information. So amidst all these things, we were surprised when the Nigerian government started denying that there is nothing like Christian genocide, that Christian genocide never existed. So in the wake of this controversy, people like Mike Arnold, the man you are seeing on the screen right now, started gaining the attention of the people because we were psychologically demoralized. We were thinking that, wait, are we still in this world? The government that was saying that they are Christian, they are terrorists who are committing Christian genocide. From 2012, UN have been warning about sexual violence. Boko Haram have been issuing ultimatum that Christians should leave. What happened that people just wake up to say there is no Christian violence in Nigeria, or there is no, Christian genocide in Nigeria again? So we started seeing people who did not take bribe. We started seeing people who refused to compromise. And one of them is Mike Arnold. It doesn't take anything for Mike Arnold to align with the Nigerian government and take some billions of naira or millions of dollars, and he can come out to say, actually, there is nothing like Christian genocide in Nigeria, blah, 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 blah. And nobody is going to do him anything because that is what a lot of people have been saying, including influencers in Nigeria. So we have proofs, we have evidence that even the Nigerian government at the time have shown the whole world that there is a Christian genocide. Now, to tell you something that is, that amazes me, the current Minister of Defense of Nigeria, just 4 days ago, I mean 4 days ago, not 4 years ago, this is the exact statement he made.
It's usual with the terrorists during the Ramadan period. For them, they feel when they die, they're going to heaven. So they are ready to commit any offense or to get killed because they feel they have reward to do. But like I said, we have adjusted our strategies. You can see in the past few days, we've taken over those locations. We've killed their commanders. We've taken over their assets. We'll continue to do more. And I assure you, Mr. President has approved so many things that are coming on our line, and we're working together as a team. You can see all members of the security forces are here to assure Nigerians.
All right. You just hear what he said from the beginning, that the Boko Haram, other terrorists are attacking because this is the period of Ramadan. And they believe that if they die while fighting, they will go to heaven. And someone will wake up and say there is nothing like religious attached to the issues that is going on in Nigeria. So with that, we are welcoming our guest this evening, Mike Arnold. Mike Arnold, we are happy to have you this evening. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. And just heads up, the feed is just a little bit choppy. So if I ask you to repeat a question, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. So I think
Okay.
we are going to start from the questions that so many people have been asking. So many people have been asking, dear Mike Arnold, how come your interest in Nigeria, your passion, you are building schools, you people are supporting the building of schools in Nigeria, you people are supporting the persecuted people in Nigeria. Like, where is this passion coming from? Who is motivating you people, and what is your motivation?
Well, thank you. That's a good question, and it's the right question, because a lot of people. Jesus said, "People do all these things in my name," and he says, "Away from me, I never knew you." That all our best works are like filthy rags if we don't have a connection to Him. So, a lot of people come with ulterior motives, but a lot of people come with good intentions also, and they're still can sometimes do more harm than good. My entire journey, and at the end of this, my memoirs will be just the step-by-step miracles and guidance from God. It's been, I believe God has equipped me for this in my life and has put me here for this reason. My first trip to Nigeria was 2010. Didn't want to go, had no idea, but it was just at the last minute, hey, sure, I'll go along. And it was pretty much that. I couldn't find it on a map. But over the course of the month there, I began to relate to the people to the extent that in many ways I feel more at home there than I do here, because in Christ there is no Jew or Greek, slave or free, American or Nigerian or Igbo or House. I mean, we're a body, and I felt that connection there to the body more than I do here in so many ways. And God gave me a word on that trip. And at the time, Nigeria was the only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back. There was a Christian president and the economy was booming. I think it was like 120 or 150 naira to a dollar. I mean, it was a much nicer place.
Wow.
And God told me, He said, what man has long called the dark continent, I am raising to be the continent of light in this generation, with Nigeria as the vanguard, front line. Since then, look what's happened. I mean, literally all hell is broken loose. And I believe this is the battle for the kingdom, and our generation is right here. And I believe we will prevail. But that's what I'm called to. And that's what guides me. And that's what will continue to guide me. So help me God.
All right. Thank you so much. We would like to understand the perspective of someone like you in this issue of the religious violence in Nigeria, because about 5 governors in Nigeria who came out to say, we know these terrorists, we know who they are, we know that the government is sponsoring them. These are sitting governors of the states in Nigeria, like the governor of Benue State that denied that there is nothing like Christian genocide. He came out, he said that they have evidence that people in the Senate are sponsoring the killing in Benue State. The governor of Zamfara State made a statement. Just to show people what I'm talking about, let me play the video.
Like I said, what he said. We know where these guys are. We know where they live. We know their parents.
You know them as a government?
Of course we do. They live with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand, for those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara, have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher.
It is something that we are trying to all put our heads together. And that is why, from what I can do as a governor, to have this CPG as a first line of defense. Of course, military are there, police are there, as well as civil defense, but they are not under my control. They are under the control of federal government. And they are, like I said.
Yeah, he is the current governor of Zamfara State. He said they knows where these terrorists are, they know whom they are, they know their parents, but he is not in the control to stop them. The control belongs to the federal government. Do you people see this thing as a normal terrorism, or as, I don't want to put words in your mouth. How
Sure.
do you see the issue in Nigeria?
Okay, let me give you a revelation here, and it's a deep one, okay? There are three primary drivers to this, and all of them have different motivations, but they all come together in the front line to do the atrocities that you're seeing. That's the cutting edge of their expansion. Those three forces really, and you see these everywhere. Islam. Note I don't say radical Islam. I say Islam, because the ones that don't subscribe to jihad are apostates. They're not considered Islamic by the real Muslims. Because it's their holy books that dictate what they're doing. They're just following the written example of the perfect man, Muhammad, who did this exact stuff. And they've been doing it for 1,400 years wherever they go. So it's nothing's new under the sun. There's nothing that should be surprising here. But so there's three forces: radical Islam, communism, Chinese communism, and the globalists. Okay, those are the three forces that are here, and they're overextended in Nigeria because it's been the hidden cookie jar for all these years. The Chinese drive the money engine. They are raping the land, blood minerals. The Nigerian government itself, there's an international report they have to issue, and it's audited by the international community. So they can't. This is the Nigerian government having to admit this, and the Nigerian government downplayed it as much as they could. The Nigerian government officially says that $9 billion a year of minerals is being looted from the north, and it's predominantly, it obviously appears to be going to the Chinese. And I keep getting reports from people in the north who say, yeah, those Chinese, they're the worst human beings on earth, and verifying everything I'm saying. But the government says at least 10% goes to pay corruption that backs this up. So what does that mean? The people on the front lines, I've talked to a former senator up in the Middle Belt, a vice chancellor of a very prominent university in an LGA that's been slaughtered. They say that some of this blood money, and it was good luck Jonathan in his living room. I was sitting there, private meeting. I had a couple of people with me, but it was just us in his living room. And he leaned in and said, it's the blood minerals. Look at the blood minerals. I've been to Bokos after the Christmas massacre a few months later to see the mounds of dirt where the farmers used to live. So that $900 million a year going, and they say it pays the generals, the corrupt ones, and the people that have their fingers on the machinery of the military and the security apparatus. It pays them to turn a blind eye. That's why you have a Nigerian military that we know there are good people in it. We know there are good people from the top to the bottom, but they still look like bungling, incompetent idiots when they respond to any of this stuff. It's because they're hamstrung by corrupt leaders. And then it goes to Abuja. That's the globalist, the political edge to it. Part of what's happening here is a political realignment where they are moving in, letting these people move in, giving them each 4 wives, and they got to vote. And they're disenfranchising millions and millions of peaceful Nigerians that wouldn't probably be in their hip pocket politically otherwise. So it's political inversion from the globalists. It is extraction from the communist extraction, and then they're using radical Islam for what it does naturally. All you have to do is stop fighting them, and they will do this. All you have to do is let them do this, and they will do it. That's what they do. And so by hamstringing the military, what Obama did to Jonathan, he blocked our military aid. He stopped him from going elsewhere to get aid, to turn them loose. It's like uncorking the bottle of Ebola and waving it around. If you don't keep Islam contained, it does this everywhere it goes on earth. Nowhere in history in 14 years, 100 years has it been stopped without war. Nowhere, no country, for example. So yeah, that's what's happening here. Globalists are messing with the politics and the corruption. The Chinese, the communists, the Russians are extracting and looting, funding all this. And then The Islamists are just doing what they do. They're the useful idiots, animalistic beasts that are doing this in the name of Allahu Akbar. That's what's going on here. How's that for a revelation?
Wow. You just made a statement. You said this thing cannot be stopped without a war.
Never in history. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying we need to figure out how, because otherwise that's what it's going to be, and it's not going to be long. We better figure out how to fix this now, the first generation in history, the first people in history to do it. We better figure it out, or it's going to get a lot worse.
Okay.
There's no argument you can make to say that it won't be getting worse if we don't stop it now. I challenge anybody watching to tell me why it will get better without direct, aggressive military intervention right now. Tell me how you plan to fix this.
All right. That will lead me to the exact question. It's like you just go into the question. With a lot of communities looking like this, being wiped out, ethnic cleansing all over the country, especially in the middle belt, in the northeast, in the north, in northwest, and part of the southeast. You just make mention that this thing is not going to stop. It will keep on getting worse. I think this is the truth that everybody is trying to behold. That this thing is not going to end. This has been getting to over 20 years, and we keep seeing it getting worse and worse and worse every day. So we are asking you, sir, are you just saying there is just one solution to this, or what are the solutions do you think that people should do? Because we ourselves, a lot of people in Nigeria, at a time, you see there is an agitation in Nigeria, in the southwest, in the southeast. The reason for this agitation is all this sectarian violence, people saying the Christians should live in the north. They see that some government officials are sponsoring terrorism. Like, people look at it and say, no, we can't be in the same country with these people. So this thing have been fueling agitation. Some people said, oh, let them give us right to defend ourselves. Let everybody carry AK-47 so that we'll be able to withstand these people. So what are the solutions, if it is more than one, that your people think that we could use to stop this issue?
Okay, I'm not me people. Okay, I'm me. So I'm not speaking for anybody else.
Okay.
I don't represent America. I don't represent the American government or anybody in it. I represent me and my organization.
You are the earth shaker.
I'm just telling you. Don't people say that? Oh, you what white people? Oh, you're a white guy. Tell me. You're a black guy. Tell me, what do black people think? I mean, come on, it's silly.
Understood.
So I'm me. Okay. But me, what I think is this, first of all, that Winston Churchill called Islam the equivalent of human rabies. Think about that. And it's an apt description. You can see the playbook. Let me just walk through how Muhammad took over Medina. Okay. He was this downtrodden poor guy. Really, the clinical diagnosis would be a malignant narcissist sociopath. If you analyze what he did and what he said clinically, take out his claims of being a prophet, which he claimed, and made it a religion. But if you look at how he led his gang thug cult, they went into Medina as this poor, downtrodden, helpless people, and were victims. And they got all the other victims and the downtrodden to band together and pull down these evil people. And then they bumped off all the other victims, and then they were the boss. And they killed people that got in their way. And anybody that disagreed with them, anybody that didn't believe he was a prophet and didn't follow his exact instruction word for word, they just killed them. And that's what they still do. And so, I mean, you can look at these, but I have a video from Genøcide. From about 1.5 years ago, where there was a Christian church, a military chaplain had built this. They burned all the other ones, in 2014, and killed them all and ran them all off, except for that few that 50,000 that were able to stay in Cameroon. Cameroon put all the rest in cattle trailers and hauled them back to Nigeria. But there was a Christian community there. The military chaplain built this church, More Than Conquerors Church. And my team visited it 2014 in the fall, and amazing. And in a little month or so later, got a video from the pastor on WhatsApp. Boko Haram in Ngoshe, after Tinubu and Ribadu declared it defeated, they captured some members of the community, including members of this church, and had a mass beheading, videoed it with the flags waving. They didn't even sharpen their blades. I mean, it was taking 10 or 12 licks with these axes and machetes to cut these heads off. They're holding them up. There's a crowd all the way around them, thick, you can see, crowd, men, women, and children cheering. Tell me, Nuhu Ribadu calls these people his brothers. Tell me that there's a rehabilitation that cleans that. So in human terms, in natural terms, in practical reality, they all have to be exterminated. I mean, sorry. Once they've crossed that line, I'm talking justice. I'm not talking revenge. I'm not talking, rise up and go get them. I'm saying anybody that swung the blade or pulled the trigger, anybody that's been there or that's benefited from that or enabled that or defended it, that the earth can't hold them. That's justice. Now, as a Christian, I believe that they can be reached. I believe that they can be reached with the gospel. I know this is happening. Iran has the fastest growing Christian church on earth. And that's documented, underground, because that regime is evil and it hurts people that are within it. No human being can do those actions and ultimately at night feel good about themselves. That's why they have to keep doing more to cover their conscience. Jesus is breaking through. So we need to lead with the gospel. We need to lead with the true church, not the Nigerian prosperity pimp crap. But the true church needs to be praying and serving and standing up and speaking love and truth to these people. Jesus is showing up. That's the only solution that's lasting. But on this world, as policy, as law, as justice, the world can't hold anybody with that. It's incompatible with human civilization.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike Arnold. See, there is this thing that you just said. A lot of people believe that it is true, that the only viable option to stopping this is just a military intervention to overpower these people to stop them. Former military chief in Nigeria, his name is Mr. T.Y. Danjuma. He made a famous statement in Nigeria, and he said that the police, the whole armed forces, including the military, are colluding with the terrorists in Nigeria to commit ethnic cleansing. So this is a word of a military chief. So he said these people are working together. So how do you want people in Nigeria to trust their military? When they see sometimes attack will be happening here, you call the military, they will not answer. So I want to understand more about your concept.
That's a good question. It's a hard question. There's no easy answers. The way I'm beginning to see it, and I may be wrong, okay? This is just me trying to piece this together. I don't have an inside channel on this. But it appears the Nigerian military doesn't really have a strong leadership command chain, and that each general is his own basic warlord, is what it appears. And it's a loosely confederated group of warlords that have their own, army. And now within and who really think controls the power? Who wrote the Constitution of Nigeria in 1999 was one of these military warlords who was the appointed dictator at that time. And he just said, we'll fade behind the scenes and we'll give you this democracy, we the people, that mentions Islam in Islamic terms 165 times and nothing else, no other religion, no Christian. That same military that said, okay, you're a republic now, still holds all the cards. And again, I don't think they're all in it together. I think there's conflicting ideologies, there's conflicting politics in the army. That's why they do purges like this, the so-called, maybe there's a coup, and they rounded up all those people back in October. The same day, I think, as my press conference, maybe the next day. I wonder if that was connected, because the Senate did an emergency meeting that same day as my press conference. But so, yeah, I don't think that you can say Nigerian military this. It depends who you're talking to. even like the Genøcide detachment, there was supposed to be like 300 there, and there was only like 30 when the numbers, I'm a little, it's that order of magnitude. And their commander was somewhere else. He wouldn't sleep there because he was too scared. So there were good people that were willing to risk their lives, and they got beheaded when they got captured. They kicked their heads around like footballs. But there are good people in the Nigerian military. And I think
I agree with that.
Musa is probably a good guy from what I see, but he gives a general, some Fulani northern general. God, the Sultan of Sokoto was a general before he became the Sultan. And Musa says, "Do this." They're getting paid by this blood mineral money, man. They're going to do whatever their overlord tells them, or they're motivated to help the jihadis. It's one or the other. Again, there's good people in it. How do you distinguish? I don't know. I think the day will come when it becomes obvious. We'll see.
Wow.
That's another revelation. I've never spoken that before.
I'm taking note of everything you are saying. Okay. So I'm still going to, think about that, put it in a context. All right. From the beginning of this interview, you said something that gladdens my heart, that your interest, the interest you have in Nigeria, the reason why you are talking about this issue, you are helping people, even donating and building schools and all those things, is because you see everyone with that mind of God, that we are one, we are brothers. So, because of that, I'm going to ask you this question. I made mention of agitations in Nigeria, that this insecurity, this push for Islamization, though it's a global issue, it's not just only Nigeria issue, but it is fueling agitation in Nigeria because so many ethnic groups are saying, no, we do not want to belong in this entity any longer, because we saw it happened in Turkey, it happened in Egypt, it happened in Lebanon. If we keep quiet with the people in power supporting them, they could succeed in Islamizing the whole country. Why can't us pull them away from this country? So, what do you have to say about that?
Look, so I've been called to walk a fine line at this stage in calling for separation or unity, whatever. I'm called just to speak the truth. And I believe that people who do dearly believe that separation or at least autonomy and protection and the ability to control their own lives and their resources and their communities and all that. I believe people that believe that people groups should have that choice. Those are my people. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's justice. And if anybody understands the fact that Great Britain on purpose took this relatively peaceful, entrepreneurial, bright, innovative, British, English speaking, Christian adopted, South, and literally shackled them with a murderous sociopath that wants nothing but to loot and rape and kill them continually because their God tells them to, and then puts the control of that contraption in the hand of the psychopath. I don't fault people for wanting to be separate from that, but I'm not advocating for that right now. I'm just educating people, raising awareness, and calling. Here's the thing. Bottom line, people want the U.S. to be involved. We're in the middle of a narrative war. I'm going to be standing in front of the U.S. Congress on the 25th, and we have to distill our asks down to a very fine few things. And they have to be real and practical and actionable and aligned with President Trump's way of doing things. Okay. And there are priorities first. An IDP census, focus on the IDPs is vital. That is a powder keg that can explode real quick. Up to 10 million, 12 million Nigerians that are displaced with a 50 to 60% chance of being radicalized by 2030 without intervention. And all they know is death, lack. The only power that they've seen effective is it wields a machete and cuts people's heads off. The only people they've ever seen win are the killers. And they're not getting education. Their government calls them vagrants and bums. Those people, that's a powder keg fixing to explode. That's why I'm doing everything I can, and I've given everything I can. I don't have any. I put everything I've ever had into those schools, everything, because we've got to rescue these kids. Because rescuing these kids rescues Nigeria and rescues the world, and it's urgent. But dude, it's just urgent. People need to wake up, and people need to stand up, and people need to stop this evil, and need to stop it now. And then you can decide whether you're going to separate. But you can't leave this happening, these people as your next door neighbors, and that message of leave them be and let us go is not going to fly in Washington. It doesn't work. So first, let's purge the evil. Let's wipe these people out. Let's get Trump to act and bomb, and Maduro Tinubu, Lord willing, and Ayatollah the Sultan. Let's get it done, and then you'll be able to chart your own course. You got to cut those. I made my point. Okay, I'm strategically working to establish justice and restoration to the people of the land now called Nigeria. Okay. What you do with it after that, God be with you.
Okay, thank you so much. You still have another question before you, because I really want to know, like, how much can we put our hope on international intervention? I am asking you this question on purpose because we had a kind of gun that hunters do use in Nigeria before. Almost every household in Nigeria had this gun. My father had it. So you can go and register the gun, you use it for hunting, and use it for vigilance. We call them vigilante. Every night you will go out in the community to monitor the community. But the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, prior to importing the Fulani militia to Nigeria, he gave an order that our people should be disarmed. They took these guns away. So, not that we cannot put in resistance to these people, but we don't have means to do this. They have taken the right away from us. We don't have Second Amendment like America that you can have gun in your house. Just imagine in a village, you have 100 AK-47. Boko Haram cannot enter there and go away. They will get them down, but we don't have help. So how much can we put our trust in international intervention? Because the government cannot do this. It's a proven fact.
Okay, excellent question, and I might challenge you a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And let me tell you, I say this with the deepest love and respect and brotherhood, but Nigerians seem to have, and it's one of the strongholds, is a colonial mindset. And I get it, okay? But they think they have to go somewhere else to the West to get a better education or to truly, whatever it may be. But there's always this, oh, that's better. Okay, and you need permission or you need help from them to do anything great. And I would submit to you that thinking is what's holding you down more than anything. It's the psychological chains, and that needs to be torn down. So no, it's the West, it's the U.S. under Obama that caused all this. It's the British.
That's right.
That set this all in motion, and you want them to help you fix it? Grow up. Freedom isn't free. The Iranians weren't armed. I don't think the Nepalese were armed. Freedom isn't free. God, it is what it is. Now, God has aligned things. I think there's a chance, maybe in the next 6 months, to get Trump to pay attention. But after the midterm elections here, that goes away, perhaps. And I hate to say it, I'm not a partisan unless the Republican Party wins. If the Democratic Party takes the House at the midterms, Nigeria is finished forever. And you can take that to the bank. They're aligned with the APC. They're the ones calling it global warming. They're the ones that were funding USAID to Boko Haram. If the Democrats take the House, the midterms, and there's a chance, and I call on every Nigerian around the world, I don't care what Trump has done or not done. I don't fully love the guy either. But God, if you love Nigeria and you want to see it survive, you got to vote Republican in the midterms. There's no way around it. Have to. Hold your nose when you do it. But that to me is the litmus test. But right now, and it's a narrative war, I'm being completely transparent with you guys. We're trying to shift and get a momentum in the right direction so Trump can do something. And that's what it always takes, is momentum in the right direction. He doesn't push it. He leads it. Okay? Notice when he got involved and ended up bombing Sokoto was after my press conference, when the international narrative flipped. Then he said, okay, now it's time, right? Okay. He's not going to stir up a movement, but look at how he's bombing Iran because of the movement there. He's helping them, but he's not doing it for them. Do you see what I'm saying? He's not going to, I don't think, I could be wrong, but he needs to see a movement to back. He needs to see an alternative to the current regime. Otherwise, he has no choice but to work with them. Right? You know,
all right.
There's other nations that have been split when there's not the political will there. They fizzle, they fall apart, and it's even worse. So without a real effort nationwide to stand up and speak the truth, and it is making a big difference. That's what they're fighting against. I believe ultimately this jihad now is ultimately against social media, people standing up, people telling the truth. The world is starting to see. And so, damn, we better stomp it out. We better, you know what I'm saying? They're freaking out because the light's starting to shine. Shine the light, stand up, speak the truth. Freedom isn't free, but I think it's possible, and it's going to be in the next 6 months, or the odds go way down. It is what it is. That's the lay of the land.
Anyway, we hope for the best, because the situation right here in Nigeria is not just easy. Anyway, you made mention that we should put in our best. Freedom is not free. We've got to take our destiny into our hands. I think you are absolutely right on that. You are absolutely right, because I understand that, the Democratic Party in America, the Democrats under Barack Obama, they did a lot of things that are affecting us today. So I'm just thinking tomorrow, if Trump is not here, so another person like Kamala Harris, anybody could just be there and be pushing money to these people to totally capture Nigeria. And that is where we ourselves comes in. We've got to get ready to, okay.
Let me say that real good, because the real danger beyond that is the impunity. If they know the world looked, and then the world looked away. I've already heard rumblings that anybody like you that calls this a genocide is guilty of sedition, and that's a capital offense. Okay, there is no going back. So if it goes back, it's gone. Going back is lost forever. There is no going back. This isn't an option. Live free or die. That's what Texas and New Hampshire, I think. Live free or die.
We just hope it's not going to come to that.
I'm not calling for anything illegal. I'm not calling for any insurrection. I'm not calling for any violence. I'm not calling for any retribution. I'm saying manifest the new Nigeria, the new region used to be called whatever you want to do. Manifest the future you want to be. You want to see. You want to see justice. You want to see, but it's legal justice. It's righteous justice. It's not street justice. You want to see rule of law. You want to see love. You want to see all of those things. Be that and stand up and be it loudly. I'm not saying go do anything that's stupid, but everybody must stand up. Everybody must speak. Everybody must share these stories. Everybody must post. Everybody must serve. Everybody must connect and help the widows and orphans around you. Reach out. USA doesn't need to come and dump money to take care of the IDPs. If just the people around those camps were to walk in and say, how can I help you? And if the body of Christ were to really do its job, if the top 10, just the 10 richest pastors in Nigeria, they're hoarded tithes and offerings like the dragon that's hoarding the gold of God's people. They're satanic beasts. And I don't care what they're giving lip service now to this issue. They're hoarding the gold of the body of Christ. And just the top 10, their hoarded tithes and offerings would fully support over 3 million IDPs for a year. That's how many of the government claims exist. The church could step up tomorrow if those sons of Satan, worshipers of mammon, prosperity preachers were just to drop down to a pastor's salary and live a humble life like Jesus and the apostles did, they could say right now, well, watch this. See what the Muslims are doing? Look what the church will do. We'll take care of all of them for a year until we figure this out. That could happen tomorrow. But you have these dragons hoarding the gold of the body of Christ, calling themselves pastors and general overseers and building, opulent arenas and flying in jets and stuff. That's not those are not Christians. They're not pastors. They are leading the church astray. They're wolves in shepherd's clothing. And this is not going to be fixed until the church cleans house and runs them out and uses those resources to actually help the widows and orphans that are right around you. Come on. How's that?
This is actually what we wanted to hear. I think this is actually the right thing and the right direction the church should go, because most of the time we used to think about these things and it's not because the churches in Nigeria are poor. It's not because we don't have what it takes to run a government. When I mean a government, I'm talking about church government. Church government have to do with how you help the people, the chains of helping people, the chains of unity among brethren, the chains of defending the faith, the chains of doing so many things. But honestly, I'm not here to condemn anybody, but this is what is lacking in the Christendom in Nigeria. So what you are saying is actually what we should do. And I still want to put this to you. There are so many people who are in detention because they speak up, they agitated, they fought back, the militia, they did all sorts of things, against this power that is killing people. But they end up in detention. Most of them end up being killed. I know that we are not going to give up in speaking up. But what do you think we should do? Do you think that the church is not defending the faith enough, or this is not all about church issue? It's just all about the citizens' responsibility to continue to die? That was in October 2023. We had a protest called End Bad Governance Protest. I was in Abuja. I was threatened to go back to my state. That's if they see me in Abuja, that I'm going to be arrested. Though I was not afraid because I have a lot of people standing there that if police arrest me, they will go in to do pro bono service, both in the court and everything. So I was not afraid. But for how long shall we continue to be killed? If you protest, they will arrest you. What do you think that we should do about this?
Look, freedom isn't free. You have a wicked combination here. You have the most brutal totalitarian overlords in history conspiring against you. You have the Islamic regime. You have the internationalist, cabal, the political international banking, all that regime. And then you have the communist regime that is holding these people down. And you think it's going to just be handed to you? If God has called Nigeria to be the vanguard in the kingdom come in our generation, you expect somebody else to come and rescue you? That's not, what would happen if Trump were gone tomorrow? What would happen if Harris won? Would you just say, oh, well, we suck, come and behead us? Those.
We will not stand to wait for them to come and kill us, actually.
Well, that's what you've been doing, and it's little by little. It's the frog in the pot, they'll come. They just did to your brothers and sisters in Genøcide just the other day. Why aren't you standing up now? You're going to wait till it's your neighborhood? Then who's going to stand up with you? Come on. Here's the thing. And I'm going to just say this. If there's another Genøcide, I think every Nigerian of conscience, of every religion or race or tribe or creed, should stand up and take pitchforks and torches and storm the Aso Rock, the villa. I believe that. Now, as I said pitchforks and torches, I meant that symbolically. They should do it with posters. They should do it with words. Okay, I'm not calling you to tear down the villa. I'm not calling you to street justice. That is wrong. That's what they would do. But stand up. And you know what? The most powerful symbol in modern times among them is the Tiananmen Square tank man. Okay, where's the Nigerian Tiananmen Square tank man? That got the world's attention. It galvanized the world. Trump is watching. The world is watching. Freedom isn't free. If there's another Ngoche, I think that the good people of Nigeria should surround the villa and pray for them and sing hymns. March around it 6 times blowing trumpets. How about that? Or 7 times blowing trumpets. Okay? But make your presence known. And if they try to retaliate, Trump will intervene. He'll have to. Look what the Iran wasn't hit until the people rose up. Just say it. I mean, this is fact, okay? I'm not calling on anything violent, but I'm calling on people.
Protest is fundamental human rights.
Stand up and speak, and don't let them get away with it. No more Ngoches. No more. Enough's enough. And don't wait on the white man to come do it for you. My God. Where are the leaders of Nigeria? Waiting for the election? In a sham system that's never had a fair election in history? You're waiting for that? Fools.
Wow. Is United States considering in supporting the change of regime in Nigeria? This is the reason why I'm asking you this question. In the year 2015, Barack Obama participated in removing then incumbent President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, check it out. I know some inside stuff about Obama and what they did that's psychotic. I have an acquaintance, and this has actually been reported in a very credible source. He told somebody else, but he was top-level military intel liaison, worked under the Obama White House, was in the Global Response Center, the war room, big screen around the world. They had the Chibok girls on the screen where they were being held, and they were ordered to stand down. Now, mind you, this guy worked for the White House, okay? Ordered means who? Ordered to stand down and not give that intel to the Nigerian military, not rescue those girls, let them go. He ended up quitting military service for lifetime career because of that. He couldn't serve the government anymore. And that's when Axelrod was advising, and the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag, as I recollect, that came out of the APC, didn't it? That was an APC slogan. Bring back our girls. Well, they wouldn't have had to bring them back if Obama would have let us rescue them. Okay, that's pure evil. Okay, and that's pure evil. So yes, the U.S. did that under Obama, not the same as the U.S. under Trump. And here's the thing: Trump has some really dear friend presidents and prime ministers around the world that he mentors, that he really helps. Bolsonaro, folks like that. He likes the Italian premier, I believe. But they're the ones that are leaders. They're the ones that get out there and fight. They're the ones that are on the front line, like he is, speaking the truth and getting things done. He doesn't find those people. They emerge. They lead. He doesn't gin up movements. He doesn't meddle like that. But when he sees one that has potential and that's actually doing something, like he does, when he sees that movement, historically, looking at his record, he will back them. And my theory, I don't speak for anybody but me. This is my theory. I've wondered why they're holding on to the 2,500 pages of Tinubu DEA documents. It's been ordered released by a federal judge, but they're still holding on to it. I wonder, like I said, if there's no alternative, they got to work with the guy that's there. I wonder if that's how they're working with Tinubu. Just wrap those 2,500 pages around his neck and make him comply. I don't know. But if that's the case, and a leader emerges, I don't see why Trump wouldn't release it and do everything else he could, to get this evil dictatorship to justice. Tinubu is guilty of genocide, and I'm not talking about tracing his looting the North and all that. That's for another day. For his intentional denial of aid and recognition of displaced under these circumstances, that has been prosecuted successfully in International Criminal Court as genocide. And I believe he needs to be indicted for that, because I have proof. There's living proof all over Nigeria of how he calls these people's criminals and vagrants and bums. He bulldozes their homes, denies aid, denies recognition. All he has to do is recognize them as displaced. That's all he has to do. And the international community has the money and the mandate to take care of them. But he denies it because they're eyewitnesses. And so Tinubu is guilty of genocide today, and all his administration is for covering up the displaced crisis. So yeah, why wouldn't Trump intervene? Why wouldn't he and Maduro, the guy? There's just enough legal grounds for it, I believe, as there was for Maduro. But where's the movement? Who's going to take over? Who's going to run if he plucks those people out? That's not emerged in Nigeria, and it's not the Biafran separatists. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to help? Then why would I back you? We need to take over we need to do this instead. Again, this is deep analysis, and I'm shooting from the hip. I'm just vibing with you here. I don't represent anybody else, but that's how I can see it playing out. And I think that's a lot of what's happening.
All right. You just made mention you just talk about the guilty of genocide of something. I want to take you back to 2015. Prior to the election that removed Goodluck Jonathan, the coalition of APC and PDP imported Fulani militia from outside the country. Now, there is difference between allegation and if the people who carried out this thing accepted it. So they accepted that, yes, we imported these Fulani people. We did not import them to scatter Nigeria. We just imported them to rig election. This is what they are saying, and it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make sense. And let me give you an example. This man was part of the coalition. Look at what he said.
Let me first of all say that the idea of bringing people from outside the country to destabilize wasn't, I didn't say they brought people to destabilize. What I said was that the idea, they actually brought people into the country with the intention that those people will come and vote for them. I think you understand? And they never realized, they never knew, they were never convinced that they were going to win that election, because PDP was very, very strong on ground. So the fear was that they were going to lose the election. So the only thing they could do was to bring in people who could serve as mercenaries to come and win elections for them through the back door. But when the new PDP came on board and joined them and to form the APC and won the election, they didn't know what to do with those people. And in the process, those people became uncontrollable. Many people have spoken.
And that is the Fulani militia we have in Nigeria today. It was imported by the coalition of Tinubu and they are not hiding it. They don't hide it. So,
my understanding is, and I don't have firsthand documentary evidence, so I wouldn't publish this, but I've heard, you probably heard the same thing, that the reason Issa Pantami was in charge of digital information, the Minister of Digital Information, that they'd set up tents and they'd hand out digital government ID cards to these folks in the north, all the people they imported. That's why they had this terrorist scumbag, Issa Pantami. I've sat next to him. In the October and the Stooge tour that Omokri set up. I was in a very small room sitting right next to Issa Pantami. The guy that has publicly recorded is saying, of course, we all celebrate whenever unbelievers are being killed. He said that bin Laden is a better Muslim than me. That guy was a federal minister under Buhari, rumor has it, handing out the digital ID cards. And it all makes sense when you understand that.
So, with this issue, I think talking about whether these people are guilty of genocide or not, is matter of they have accepted that they imported these Fulani militia that have killed hundreds of thousands of people and displaced millions of people. So someone is responsible to importing this. So I have like up to 10 videos, when someone comes to national television to say something and nobody denied it, I document it as a substantial evidence, just like this incumbent senator again.
In trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former...
So everybody knows what is actually the problem, but nobody wants to confront the powers that be. So all this issue we are talking about here is the reason why so many people were, agitating that, come on, these people are going to, with the help of the government, they are going to infiltrate our land, they are going to kill our people. But you also say something that is very important, that, listen, you can't leave these terrorists in your backyard while talking about the separation of Nigeria, because they can come into your area, But what about if Donald Trump did not win this election? It could have been the people will just be carrying arms, fighting. And the type of arms we can carry is just shoot, what is it called? Pump action. I can only register pump action. Government can only give me, license to pump action. They can't give me license to AK-47. They can't give me license to all those sophisticated weapons that the terrorists are using. So that does not mean that we are not going to put in resistance to it. According to you, we are going to close our eyes and say, oh, come and behead us, come and kill us. No, that is not going to happen. We are going
It happened in Genøcide last week. It's happening in villages all across Nigeria all the time.
Yeah,
and nobody's coming to help. So look, I don't buy what you're saying, because you're not doing it. It's been happening for over a decade, village after village, community after community, 100,000 plus wiped out, millions displaced, and nobody stopped it. Nobody stood up. And what makes you think that when it gets to your neighborhood, you're going to stand up and it'll be too late for you? That's just the way it is. Okay, I'm shooting straight, and you're copping out, and it's not right. You are allowing it. You've allowed it for too long.
Yeah, I do not argue about that. What you are saying is correct. And I also feel that there is something we are doing that those people are not doing. Because like last year, that was last 2 years, 2023, in my community, my people could not go to farm for 3 months because these people, they were in the farm. This is Southern Nigeria. I'm from Delta State. This is Southern Nigeria. They were in our bushes, kidnapping people, killing people, but we did not fold our hands. We did something. We were in the bush. We did something. So I believe maybe they are overpowered.
You're on safe. I mean, you've got a community around you, okay, and hopefully your local leaders. Your police are more connected there, and all that. That's fine, but. Like I said, they're coming step by step. They're extending Sharia. They want to go step by step. And if you're defending your ground, fine, sure, you defended your ground, but why aren't you defending your neighbor? Why aren't you defending the widows and orphans that are being beheaded? That's what I'm saying. You'll stop it. When it comes to your neighborhood, you'll stop it. But by the time it comes to your neighborhood for real, it'll be too late because you didn't help your neighbor. Your neighbors better band together before it comes, and push it back. Otherwise, it's going to come for each and every one of you, one at a time. Yeah, you just confirmed what I'm saying. You know how to stand up. You know how to push back, and you're only doing it in your backyard. And how's that working for villages and communities around Nigeria? It doesn't work that way.
Honestly, it doesn't work.
You're in the South.
Yeah.
If you were in the North, you'd be dead right now. You'd be dead right now.
Wow.
You would be dead right now.
Anyway, this is
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. You are not wrong.
Okay.
Absolutely, you are not wrong. This is a global issue, and I have a problem, a very big problem, because the government of Nigeria, they are not doing enough, because we have evidence that they are collaborating. Many government officials are collaborating with these terrorists. And at the time, we know that Turkey shipped weapons to Boko Haram. The call was intercepted in Egypt. Egyptian television published the calls between Mustafa, who is the national security advisor to Turkish government, Erdogan. This thing happened in the year 2014. So the Egyptian television published the call and they did not deny it. So that is the beautiful fact about it. They did not deny it. He was making calls with the chief executive officer of the Turkish Airline, and he was telling them, the weapons you are shipping to Nigeria, who are you going to use it to kill? Know that it is a sin if you use it to kill Muslims. So the mission was very, very simple. And Nigeria government sued some members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard in 2011. Everything I'm saying is subject to verification. Nigeria government sued them. Why? Because they imported weapons from Iran and it was intercepted in a Apapa port in Lagos. And these are the period when Boko Haram was issuing ultimatum that Christians should leave the northern Nigeria. So we were psychologically damaged because we thought that, oh, this issue is beyond us. That was what led to so many people calling for international intervention. But you are making me to believe that we have to do more within ourselves. Like we've got to think solution within ourselves so that any international help will be additional to our own resistance. So I think that is the beautiful things about this. Your thoughts?
Your hope doesn't come from the West. Your hell came from the West, in large part. Am I wrong? There's a window of opportunity now. My God, there's a window of opportunity now, and it might be historic. It might be the only one you ever get to actually get somebody like Trump in office. He's not going to go and prop up a movement. He's not going to go and select a leader. I believe he would back a movement like he's done everywhere else that he's gone, and he would back a leader that aligns, with his style. Telling the truth, damn the torpedoes, let's fix this. That kind of person is I'm not speaking for him. I'm saying, look at what he's done. Look at his behavior. That's the kind of thing he does, and that's the kind of people he backs. And that doesn't exist today in Nigeria. And it could, and it should. Your help doesn't come from the West. Take advantage of it while it might be possible. But God, if Trump loses, if Harris was there, and Biden pulled CBC and calls it global warming and sends money through USAID to Boko Haram, again, if that happens again, are you just going to just say, oh, Trump's gone, yeah, come and kill us? That's the colonial mindset that's holding you guys back. That you need to stand up past that. When you do, Nigeria will transform. And when you do, I think that's the same thing with this false churchianity, the prosperity garbage. It largely came from the West. Yeah. I speak against it the same way here that I do there. But that's a colonial thing. That's not the Nigerian expression of the body of Christ. That's evil. I call on the body of Christ in Nigeria to rise and to manifest, as Paul said, the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. And when you do that, it's game over.
All right. Noted. Honestly, this is a pursuit to save our lives, and we are not going to keep quiet any longer. Maybe we must have been docile for so long. And anyway, according to you, freedom is not free. I think that word is just a statement that is voluminous. Freedom is not free. And we are actually going to, do our best to making sure that we stand up to saving our life. Now,
let me throw something out there. Two things. First, thank you. That's brilliant, and that's beautiful. We have to say, and we have to all say, no more Ngoshes. Okay, if this happened, we can't let this happen again. I mean, they're beheading Christians and soldiers and the Muslims that get in their way, the peaceful ones. I believe that when this is all said and done, there should be a monument built to the Muslims that said, no, we won't join you, and get killed. Okay, we have a school in Abuja that serves Muslim children that are displaced. Okay, there's a lot of that. This isn't, I'm not trying to cast this as every Christian is good and every Muslim is. That's not what I'm saying at all. And in fact, a more clear way of saying it, instead of Christian genocide, is it's just a Muslim onslaught. And their primary targets are Christians because they happen to live there in abundance. And you know, they're the first ones they want to kill, but they'll kill the other Muslims too if they don't join. There should be a monument built to that. So I'm calling on all people of conscience, no more Ngoshes. If something like that happens, I call on every Nigerian to surround the villa peacefully and pray and prophesy and love and speak and shout peacefully and surround the villa and let your voice be heard. I call on Nigerians from all over Nigeria to do that. Show them love, show them peace, but show them that you're not going to stand for this anymore. And in May, we're going to announce it the second week of May. We're going to have Deborah Samuel Day. The world has to know. Nigerians have to remember that name. She's one of so many. But it indicts the whole evil cabal, all the way top to bottom. Her death, and then the impunity and the celebration of it. The fact that the deputy imam to the national mosque justified it, and he wasn't put in prison. That he wasn't put in prison for that, but he celebrated for it. The world needs to know the name Deborah Samuel. Every Nigerian needs to know it. We're going to mourn her. We're going to speak her name on in the second week of May. We'll stay tuned for the announcement. Deborah Samuel Day. And we're going to ask every Nigerian, everybody around the world, to message everybody on their list the words that got her killed. Jesus is the greatest. Send that to everybody you know on Deborah Samuel Day. Jesus is the greatest. Post it on every platform. Jesus is the greatest. They can't kill us all. So there's the things you can do. See, that's peaceful. And that's loud. And there's no such thing as darkness. It's the absence of light. We can't be afraid to call these people out. We're doing the congressional hearing on March 25th. The DCI group, the lobbyists hired by Rabadu and Tinubu to lie about all this, they're propping up a briefing on the 26th, the next day. And their speakers are, these notable Nigerian Americans and one white dude, and they're talking about global warming. And they're talking about gobbledygook, that's just trying to muddy up the waters. So you know what I did? I didn't put any home information or private information. I got just what's on the web, on their own websites. And I said, here's your wall of shame. These liars are propped up by the Nigerian government to hide the genocide. And I posted that. And they've never had that kind of heat. They've never had that kind of attention. Just their published organization email and phone number, and they've had to shut down their social media, all that. Awesome. We should name and shame everyone who supports this. We should name and shame anybody who benefits from it, anybody that perpetrates it. That's shining the light, and it works. Shine the light. Don't pull the trigger or swing the blade. Use the sword of truth. That's the armor of God, right?
Yeah.
Use the sword of truth, and we can bring this down. Shine the light, and the darkness will go. Don't operate like you're part of the darkness. Don't use their tactics. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and do it the way that you want it to be done to you. Do unto others, and you will win this. Just follow those simple Sunday school lessons, and that's how you get freedom.
All right. The last thing I want to put to you is we are talking about all these problems because it started from somewhere. In the year 1940, Nigeria was amalgamated. We were never one with all these different cultures, different value system, different religion, and so on and so forth. Now, you can see our neighboring countries like Ghana, Benin Republic, all these things are not happening like the way it is happening in Nigeria. I understand what is going on in Mali and Burkina Faso. It is similar, but not at the level we are seeing it in Nigeria. Nigeria was amalgamated. And right from that time, they brought people who doesn't agree together. And that is the reason why we are seeing everything we are seeing today. So that also gave rise to our own mentality that no, in Nigeria, there should be a de-amalgamation, like let us separate every entity. However, Nigeria was practicing regional government, regional autonomy before. And during that period of time, we have all this kind of, hatred from one ethnicity to the other, but it was not like this because every region have their own, ability to defend themselves. Very, very important. They have ability to control their resources, but after some time, they remove it and Abuja now controls everything. What do you have to say about this major problem of amalgamation of Nigeria?
Well, I spoke to it pretty directly, and it's the same in the residue of the slimy British Empire everywhere around the world where it, and they didn't benevolently give independence to all these colonies. They readjusted to the political reality and downsized by shifting the administration and all the political mess to those stupid locals. They kept the same extraction mechanism in place. It's what it's always been, and it always will be for them. A lot of good came through the machinery of the British Empire. United America did, and despite our many flaws and shameful actions in the past, you still can't imagine a world without the United States. It's been a force for good in the world overall. That came out of the British machinery. The language we're speaking, a lot of the social order and certainly the Christian faith came in spite of it. And they may have cynically used the official parts as a tool, but the real missionaries worked through that. So I'm saying that first, a lot of good came from that. But overall, I don't think there's ever been a more evil empire on the face of this earth than Great Britain. What they did to people, what they do to people, and what they've done to nations like Nigeria and India and Pakistan and everywhere else they've done this is nothing but selfish extraction, and it degrades people. It's led to who knows how many, probably if you add it up, close to 1 billion people killed because they chained them together with psychopaths in history, So, I don't think it's right that a peaceful people should be chained to malignant, narcissistic, sociopathic murderer civilization or ideology. That's wrong. But how do you go about it? Here's what I advocate. Nigeria needs a new constitution. Needs period. There can be no success. There can be no unity. There can be no prosperity or peace under the existing fraudulent constitution that was written by an outgoing northern Muslim military general warlord that mentions Sharia and Islamic terms 165 times. It's a fraud. There's been no fair and free election in Nigeria's history. And there never will be under this regime. So, a new constitution. But look, see, here's the thing. This is what I'm steering to. The Israelites didn't leave Egypt because it sucked. They left Egypt because there was a promised land. They weren't leaving Egypt. They were going to the promised land. And if missile strikes on Sokoto aren't a plague on Pharaoh, nothing is. You compare yourself there. You need that vision, that promise of what unites you and what's better, what inspires you. Speak it, manifest it, live it, call people to the new, and they'll leave the old. If you call them out of the old, that's they got to the river, the Jordan River. Oh, it was nicer. Let's go back to Egypt because it was scary. There's giants and there's walled cities. This generation today of Nigerians is at the banks of the Jordan River. And if you don't cross over, you're all going to die, just like the Israelites did. Because that first generation believed the 10 spies who were scared. But if you're standing up and God is at your back and you follow his ways step by step, and you don't, Joshua and their army got defeated when they didn't do it God's way. But if you do it God's way, Nigeria will be a shining city on a hill. And that's possible. The continent of light will come forth. But that's what you have to work for that. Don't work against the old, work for the new. Don't be creatures of the darkness, be children of the light. And that will come. Be a vision caster. Sow the seeds of vision, not division. Vision unifies. Vision gives life. Without vision, people perish. I've heard so many young Nigerians, young and old, articulate it. I've heard them daydream. I know there's that hope that keeps you going. I know it. I feel it. It's strong. But you got to articulate it and then manifest it. When you manifest it, it will be. That's pretty deep, huh?
All right. I know that you also have some engagements, but this is the last one I want you to talk about.
Okay.
When you look at the UK, you see people shouting this. And the people of the United Kingdom are in the streets protesting and, you know, trying to wake up late. They are waking up late, however. If we continue to push to salvage the situation in Nigeria, I am still thinking that the infiltration will still come from these Western countries, from these Arab countries again, back to square one again. We'll start fighting the same thing we are fighting before. Don't you think about that?
You cannot give the devil a foothold. And that's what Islam serves. Period. I'm differentiating between Muslims and Islam. Hear me. I'm not saying every Muslim is evil. I know good ones, but they're considered apostate by followers of Islam. Because if they followed the written rule of the law of Islam, what Muhammad did and what all the top, recognized hadiths do is Boko Haram is being obedient to it. Period. Okay. Great Britain is sad. I hate to see it. And my word from the inside people is that it's gone. It's too late. It's already fallen. Now I have hope, but it's going to take something dramatic and quick. Otherwise, it's gone. At the same time, I do believe you reap what you sow, and their chickens have come home to roost because I've done that to everybody else, and now it's coming back to them. I hate to see it, but there is some cosmic justice in it. But when I started coming to Nigeria in 2010, it was the only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back. Okay, it can happen again, but that needs to be the focus until it's done, and then you can decide to separate or not. And I'm speaking practically, and I'm speaking strategically, and I'm speaking in revelation here. First, turn on the lights, purge the darkness, then draw your map. That's the only way it's going to work.
Wow. Thank you so much. I am glad having you into this broadcast. I have been taking note of so many things you are saying. There are some things you said that I cannot fully comprehend now. I will go and study them more. There are ways you were chipping in some things that are supposed to be 2 hours discussion, but you will just drop it. I am catching it up. And as you can see, I have another phone here. I was just typing what so many things you have been saying, down to the issue of, division, the issue of fighting these people first, the issue of becoming the light, the issue of, taking chances of the opportunity that we have right now. And I assure you that, this discussion, this interview have a way of uplifting people, emancipating ourselves to making sure we stand against what is actually going on from around us today. Thank you so much for, creating this time for us. I really appreciate that. If you have some words or encouragement or message for the viewers who are watching us, so you can leave it with us before we leave you for the engagement.
Thank you. And I've enjoyed this very stimulating conversation. Very respectful, and I've learned a lot from you as well. And thank you. And if you want to have me back sometime, be happy to. This was good. Let me please make this request. Go to my website. You can see my name. It's MikeArnold.org. MikeArnold.org. And at the top of the page, there's a button to click to support our schools. There, for Nigerians, there's a bank account. And I give you my pledge that all goes to the front line. That goes to the schools, that goes to the teachers, that goes to the people serving the kids. None of it comes to me. None of it goes to the United States. And very little goes to overhead. They got to travel. I mean, they live very humbly and they serve wholeheartedly. Every little bit helps. We are just finishing, by God's grace, a 4th campus. So these are IDP camps in Abuja that the government says doesn't exist. The UN says they don't exist. So many of them are survivors from the first Gwoza massacre. And they've lived horrible existence. They've survived. And these kids, after they're in the schools a while, you can walk into the classroom and say, "What do you know, who knows what they want to be when they grow up?" And they all shoot their hands up. "I want to be a doctor. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a..." They've got hope and they've got vision and they got a path out of there and they're going to be something. But without these schools, they're going to be jihadis, at least 50, 60% of them. Help us teach these kids. I'm doing all I can. Everything I have is in this. It really should be the Nigerians that are paying these teachers. So go to mychannel.org, click on that link, and every little bit. And if you want, I'm not a prosperity pastor. I understand the kingdom of God. If you really want a blessing for sowing your money somewhere, then sow it into widows and orphans and the people serving them on the front lines. Don't sow them to some guy sitting on a golden toilet thinking about his jets. Okay, that you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow into. Nigeria bleeds because it sows its seed in greed. Sow your seed in the widows and orphans and watch it grow.
That I really appreciate, because when I see what so many of you are doing, including this missionary and so many people are doing, I say, oh my God, it's not easy to source for money to build houses for free for people, to build schools for people, to pay school fees for people. It's never easy. If someone is not doing it, you will not understand how it is. All right.
And if you want to visit the schools, I can connect you. You can go visit the schools yourself and you can talk to these people so you can tell your listeners that it's real and that every Naira goes to these kids and it's the future of Nigeria that we're trying to grab onto there with these kids. And we can grow. We can put schools in all the IDP camps if the Nigerians will help us. Can't do it all myself.
All right. I'm happy to, to check it out and to also, answer my name in this ongoing project. I am glad to even hear from you. I have seen a lot of structures up there. I've seen a lot of things going on. This thing you are just saying now, this is not the first time of hearing this. So I know what you are talking about. And we are going to, also share it to people who don't have the idea of what is actually going on. Thank you so much.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Have a nice evening, sir.
Bye.
Somebody told me about it.